What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm SmarTrader. We're going to be talking about the Finviz screener for peg stocks. This is literally what I use when I'm looking for my peg stocks. Very easy to use, I guess. Very simple, straightforward screener. And I'm going to give you the metrics that I use to find the peg stocks. Essentially, what you need to do is you need to go to finviz.com and then go to screener, okay? So that you are in the same page as I am right now. And now I'm gonna, show you guys how to do how to set up the screener so you can find your peg stocks. Okay, if you don't know what a peg stock is, if you don't know what a PEG strategy is, if you don't know what a power earnings gap strategy is, I'm gonna link the video on the top. It's gonna pop up somewhere in the top, and you're gonna be able to go. You click on that, you're gonna be able to go to the video that I explain the whole peg strategy. Okay, make sure you watch that so you know what to look for when you're using the screener. Okay. But first of all, as always, make sure to smash that subscribe button because that helps me out a ton. It lets me know that you guys enjoy my videos and you want me to make more of them. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you want to set for your peg stock, okay, the first thing is that it has to have over 500,000 volume. Current volume over 500,000 is very important. Why? If a stock doesn't have that much volume, then it's kind of not as volatile as I would like it. It's not really one that I can go in on it and be like, hey, it's a good trade, I want to get in on this, right? So it kind of it won't be that volatile for us to play options on this stock, okay? And we're only playing options on these peg stocks, so we got to make sure that whatever stock we search, it's optionable, okay? So that, we don't just play a stock that does have good earnings and buy shares for it. You can do that. If you want to buy shares for the stock, then don't choose optionable. Just keep it at any. But I prefer to do options because they're more volatile and I can make a lot of profit off of that. And for price, that's important as well. I want to keep all of my price above $10. All of the stocks price over $10. Simply because a stock over $10 is no longer a penny stock, and usually those are fairly volatile, and it does get volume if they have good earnings. And I do want to play these over $10 stocks as opposed to below $10 stock. They're kind of hard to predict. So we got the first three metrics, right? That's essentially what you use, okay? That's essentially what you use. But the one main difference is that you want to add the earnings date, okay? And that's the key here. Okay, you can get rid of all of the 500,000, optionable and $10 price and all that, and still use this screener, the earnings date screener, to find your peg stocks. But this kind of sets some restrictions for us to follow through with. Okay, so it makes it easier for us to find the good stocks as opposed to just random stocks in the market, right? So earnings date. The ones that I use, okay, I used yesterday before market open, yesterday after market close, previous 5 days, and previous week. I usually use previous 5 days and previous week the most, but most of the time I use the previous 5 days, okay? So when I do the previous 5 days, it gives me 118 stocks to look through for our peg stocks, okay, for the peg stocks that we want to trade. So by going through these stocks, we're going to find one that has a good gap up, like AIMC, which I mentioned in my video. AIMC has the gap up candle. We see that, it closed near its highs. It's a green candle. If I were to go to Finviz and do if I were to go to the Momo, and go over here, you can see that this is already in my list and I already have it as my PEG stock, okay? That's how I found it. Okay, I used my Finviz screener to find this stock. AIMC, I'm keeping an eye on it because it's a power earnings gap stock. It's a PEG stock. I'm going to be using my peg strategy on this stock. So that is what I am using to determine my peg stocks. And you can see ALGN is in there as well. And you just go through and see, did this gap up happen because of earnings? Yes, it did. Did this gap up happen because of earnings? So earnings released, this was October 22nd. Earnings released on October 23rd. Yep. Did we get earnings on October 23rd? Yes, we did. 10/23. So that is the peg strategy essentially. And we look for these kind of candlesticks to find our peg stock. So we have ALGN being another one in the list, right? And you just go through the stocks and jot down which one has the criteria that meet our peg strategy, right? If we find the ones that meet our peg strategy, then we can potentially make some good trades on them. And you notice that most of these stocks don't have our peg strategy, right? Most of these stocks don't have the gap up candlestick that we want from a peg stock, right? Eric, this was part of the list. It is a PEG stock. Look at how it gapped up with a green candle and it held near its highs. So that is what we do. We just manually go through the whole list and find our peg stock. So GNTX, is this a peg stock? No, it gapped up, but it closed red. It basically sold off on the day. We don't trade that because it's not a peg stock. We need a green candle that closes near its highs. Okay, so we can't trade that. That's not a peg stock. Okay, so we basically go through all of these and find the ones that are good and list them out. LVS is another one. We have, and I have talked about this one as well. It's in our list of the power earnings gap strategy. It gapped up and it's running, and we'll see if it can hold that red line right here, the 200-day moving average. Probably play some like $55 calls or $60 calls, depending on which one gives us the better opportunity. But really, that's another peg stock on the list. So we look for these peg stocks based on this screener, and it makes it very easy for us, right? Like for example, MAT, this opened up, gapped up, ran up a lot, but kind of gave back all of its profit and it closed near its bottom. Not really a peg stock, right? Not really a peg stock because it didn't close near its highs. It didn't give us that, opportunity to see if it's strong or not. Okay, so that is essentially the peg strategy, the peg candle Finviz screener that I use to find my stocks. And you can go through, the previous week as well and look for ones that are there. And if it's like, for example, Monday, you can look for, yesterday before market open, or yesterday in general, and or like yesterday after market close, and you can find the most immediate stocks that released earnings. Okay, if you want to be prepared for yourself, you can look to find the earnings that are coming up. So for example, earnings that are coming up tomorrow, you can go ahead and look for those as well. I mean, you would have to get rid of all of these, current volume, all of these stuff, so you can find stocks with earnings for tomorrow. But this basically gives me the peg stocks that I want to trade, okay, and it's very straightforward and very simple. Now, there's another thing you can do where, well, first of all, let me show you guys how to save it. You just go to my presets, save screener, and just name it whatever you want. I name it as peg, and I save changes. And now, whenever I want to, search for my peg stocks, I just click on peg right here, and it automatically loads it up for me. So very straightforward, right? Very easy to do. Now, there's another screener that I want you guys to take a note of, and this is the new high screener. So you go to signal, and you click on new high, and this basically tells you which stocks are hitting highs at the moment. Okay, I want to trade options for them, so optionable first. That limits it to 90 stocks. And then I want to make sure that the stock is above $10, okay, and has current volume over 500,000. That gives me 51 stocks to look through, and I look through these 51 stocks. So for example, KOD, why is it running up so much? It's up quite a bit from like the 50s to the 96, making a huge run on Friday. Why? VOXX, same thing. Why is it running? You go through like Snapchat. This is our peg stock. Snapchat ran up like crazy because it had a lot of volume. So you go through this new highs list and you find a stock that's breaking out. So for example, CRNC would have been a great trade. Why? Because it broke out of its resistance right here. AIMC, part of our peg strategy, broke out, could right here at this resistance level, and we could have probably traded this and made some good profit on this. So really, that's what you use. You use these two screeners to find good option plays. Usually the new high screener I use when I'm looking for one to day trade and look for a stock that is setting up nicely with a lot of volume. During the day, I want to day trade it. I will go for that new highs list. And if I want to find a peg stock, I would probably look for a swing trade on the peg stocks. And usually I use my earnings date and my preset that I had right here to find some good peg stocks to swing swing on them. All right, so that is basically the screener that I use, a very straightforward screener. Hope you liked this video, guys. If you did, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Helps me out a ton, tremendously, and that's all I ask in return for these kind of videos. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.